I'm not normally someone with particularly passionate opinions. I remain neutral on a lot of things, usually because I'm not well versed enough on the topic to feel like having an opinion one way or the other is justified. But the amount of sheer contempt I feel for what I'm about to talk about is so strong that for the first time on this channel, I'm actually having trouble organizing my thoughts into a coherent script. I'm going to try my best though, because I feel like I need an outlet for these thoughts, and I mean, negative videos tend to do pretty well on this website, and since most of mine are fairly positive, I figured I'd give it a go by talking about something I actually feel strongly negatively about. So let's see, how do I start this? Guess I might as well give a thesis statement for the video. How about this? I am absolutely disgusted by the culture surrounding my chosen profession. You know, I actually used to want to go to college and get into a STEM field. I wanted to work on brain-machine interfaces and eventually assist humanity in the development of mind-uploading technology. Then I actually went to college for a semester and I realized, oh wow, the stuff I want to do is like really not fun or enjoyable to me in the slightest. So I decided I'd become an artist. More specifically, an artist slash musician slash writer slash video producer slash streamer slash eventual game developer, since I already had the skill set to do most of those things due to the fact that I took up a bunch of random hobbies while bored as a teenager. So I thought, alright, now the most important thing by far to gain success in any of those things is to have a sizable following. So, I guess I'm gonna have to start a social media career. That can't be that bad, right? Let me tell you something. If you think becoming a self-sufficient content creator will let you escape the infuriatingly soulless grind of a typical establishment job, boy do I have some bad news for you. In order to get anywhere on social media, you are going to have to sacrifice a piece of your soul. Whether that piece is small or large is up to you, but the amount you forfeit is directly proportional to your success, and it's exceedingly unlikely that you'll get anywhere if your sacrifice is too small. This is because, unfortunately, we live in a universe in which the best way to gain attention is by doing things you probably don't really want to do. To illustrate what I'm talking about, I will now disclose every thought I can remember having related to my social media climb that has made me feel sick for having thought it. Should I draw fan art for this streamer in the hopes that they'll retweet it? I like them and wouldn't mind drawing something, but my primary motivation to give them something is for my own self-benefit. Oh, I know, I'll see how many followers this other artist they retweeted has. Oh, they literally have one single follower. So that retweet got them anywhere between 0 and 1 followers. Yeah, never mind, I'm not gonna bother drawing anything. Man, I'm not really the biggest fan of this one person, but they're popular, and maybe if I link them to a video of mine I think they'll be interested in, they might show it to their fans. This entire chat log. Oh man, if I became friends with this person, they might give me a shout out in a future video of theirs. But I absolutely suck at making new friends. Oh, I know, I'll draw fan art for them and then use their gratitude as an excuse to show them my channel in the hopes that they'll like it. I know deep down how manipulative that is, but I'll tell myself I don't until I make enough of an embarrassment of myself that the person in question has to DM me to point out how awkward I'm being, and I'll have to shamefully apologize to them for being such a socially inept autist. Okay, to be fair, my motivation for that last one was actually mostly just because I think Unique is an incredible person and I really wanted to be friends with him, and I would have done the same thing even if he wasn't super popular. I'm mostly just embarrassed as all hell with the way I handled the situation, so I'm including it as an example, even though the self-benefit motivation was probably below 50%. It was the same with my RoboBuddies video. My motivation for that one was more like 30% in the hopes of getting a shout out, and 70% because I just really wanted to make it. I still would have made it even if I knew a shout out wouldn't happen. But other than that, I feel ashamed of myself for the amount of things I considered doing purely for an increase in my follower count. Granted though, I tend to not actually do most of them, which is why I consider it a blessing whenever I actually have a genuine desire to do something I know will get me views, and I want to do it for its own sake rather than just because it'll get me views. Which you'll see an example of in my next video. But beyond rare cases like that, it's like I have to do this tightrope walk where I barely tread the line between being genuine and selling out, and every step of the way I'm aware that if I were to move just a little bit to the right, I'd be way more likely to gain notoriety and get one step closer to becoming self-sufficient and doing the things that I love, but at the cost of feeling that little bit more empty inside. And I hate this. I hate this so much. This disingenuous dance where I have to go against my own principles in order to get anywhere, where I have to build connections rather than make friends. The thought of building a connection with someone I don't even care about becoming friends with just for the sake of a potential future benefit from their higher outreach makes me sick, and I hate that I've even considered it. Here's something that may or may not surprise you. RoboBuddies and I aren't really friends. It's not because I don't want to be, I'd love to be. I think she's great and we have a lot of shared interests, it's just that we never really talk. I don't entirely know why. Maybe it's because I suck at socializing and she's always busy, but we just don't. Like, we mutually follow each other, we're in proximity, I was technically successful in building a connection with her, but at the moment we aren't anything more than acquaintances, and I think it'd be an insult to the definition of friendship if I counted that as one. My friends are people like Joe, Selena, Choppy, etc., people I talk to on a regular basis and spend time with, not hollow connections that I establish primarily to fuel my own success. So far, I've managed to get where I am without sacrificing anything too severe. Like, I've done a couple things here and there's some pretty embarrassing tags in certain videos of mine, but I mean that's like whatever. There's much worse I could have done. I know my audience respects me for being genuine and not doing any stupid bullshit they're used to seeing so many other people on this website do, and I want to keep that respect. I mean, I respect myself for this too, and I'm not interested in losing my self-respect. I've held on to it while getting to where I am, but where I am right now still isn't really anywhere. I really want to get to 10,000 subs in a reasonably timely manner because I feel like that's roughly around the spot where my videos will get enough base views for YouTube to consider recommending them to people other than my subscribers. And at that point, I feel like I can do whatever I want. I'm just stuck in this agonizing climb right now where I have to prove myself to the algorithm before it'll grant me any rewards for my efforts, and I'm fighting against it the entire way. It wants me to sell out, it wants me to create sensational nonsense that's guaranteed to get clicks, but koto fucking wadu. And I should reiterate, if you happen to be genuinely into a particular piece of sensational nonsense, that's fine. Trust me, like I said, y'all are gonna see an example of that from me pretty soon. But that's only because the topic is something I'm legitimately passionate about, and it just so happens to also be something that'll probably get clicks. You're not gonna see me making any Fortnite funny moments stream compilations, or big YouTuber drama videos, or wow, I actually can't find a third fucking example. I signed out to see what the most popular things YouTube recommends to a general audience is, but almost every single goddamn thing on here is by some heavily staffed media conglomerate, so I can't even find any further examples of even those clickbaity videos uploaded by actual individual users. Great website you got here, guys. You're really opening doors for smaller people to broadcast themselves. This was supposed to be a place where people could escape the bullshit of the establishment and pay the path for themselves by doing what they love, but yeah, no, sure, go ahead and keep promoting existing celebrities who have zero need for any further exposure, you fucking cunts. God, where was I? Right, so yeah, you won't see me making any Fortnite funny moments stream compilations, because making Fortnite funny moments stream compilations is not my passion. If your passion is making Fortnite funny moments stream compilations, then fine, knock yourself out. But I've got this tiny little hunch that tells me that the people making these videos aren't actually passionate about them and are instead just making them because it's an easy way to get views and money. Now, there are a fair amount of people who enjoy making drama videos, so at least they're not being disingenuous in what they do. But I still think it's a cheap as hell way to gain notoriety, and I can't really comprehend how people can be content with themselves doing it. Every fucking time some big piece of controversy happens, my recommended videos page gets flooded with dozens of people all making the exact same video reporting on what happened, all of them scurrying around to try and put something out as fast as possible and grab onto whatever scraps of fame they can get their grubby little hands on. Whoa, 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 careful now, you almost put an openly trans character into your children's cartoon. If you don't watch yourself, the content vultures might swoop in and call you an SJW. Huh? What's that? You don't give a shit about any transient flavor of the week outrage that might happen and then be promptly forgotten about the instant someone else does something slightly controversial? Oh right, I almost forgot that none of that fucking matters. Like, I'm not against making topical videos, but when you're the 200th person to cover the same topic that's already been covered by 199 other people and you do nothing but regurgitate what's already been said in the hopes that YouTube will randomly recommend your particular cookie-cutter video instead of any of the other ones, it's like... Have you ever considered the idea that you are willfully making your entire existence redundant? You could be doing anything with your life, yet you choose to become one of infinite identical bland crackers in the empty calorie snack box that is YouTube. Whatever, if you're fine with that, if all you want out of life is to bathe in the drama while watching your view counts rise, who am I to judge? I did say in a previous video that I'm okay with people using somewhat questionable methods to get ahead, so as long as you're not hurting anyone who doesn't deserve it, I won't hate you. It just pisses me off to see what this website has become, and to see the types of videos that get unfairly rewarded while the people actually trying to do something good with themselves wallow in obscurity. I'm not actually blaming YouTube for this one, this isn't their fault, this is just the fundamental truth of how human beings operate. Sensational videos garner sensational views. I won't blame YouTube for that fact, and I won't blame the people that click on these things. I will, however, blame the people who created this clickbait culture. Because it's kinda hard for me to not feel a surge of contempt when PewDiePie decides to do something nice by shouting out smaller channels struggling to make it in this environment, and people immediately start calling him a Nazi because one of those channels happened to contain some edgy jokes he was unaware of.
PewDiePie promotes Nazi propaganda. YouTube star PewDiePie promotes channel with anti-Semitic content. PewDiePie gives shout out to hateful anti-Semitic YouTube channel. PewDiePie's ties to white supremacy spell serious trouble for the future of YouTube.
The saddest thing about all of this is that all these news websites more or less have to use these headlines because they know everyone else is doing the same, and if they're the only one who chooses to be reasonable, they'll be ignored. We're in this seemingly inescapable arms race where everyone has to meet the level of hyperbole established by their competitors or else be drowned by the cruel, uncaring hands of the content men. What exactly is a content man, you ask? Alright, why don't you sit down and let your good friend Mako tell you the story. Once upon a time, clickbait didn't exist. News headlines were fair and accurate, video titles were devoid of all caps, and there wasn't a single face man screaming at the camera to be found in any YouTube thumbnails. Historians have no clear consensus on how long this state of utopia lasted, with estimates ranging anywhere from a few years down to just a single second. But in that time, even if it was for but a second, the world was in harmony. But then came the content men. The content men were a unique breed of humans who were born without souls. Where normal people like you and I would naturally have uncertainties when branding our creations with exaggerated thumbnails and misleading titles, the content men felt no such trepidation. They went to work and flooded our landscapes with overly sensational content. It wasn't long before the good-natured videos produced by the likes of you and I became lost, drowned out by a sudden ocean of hypebeast vlogs and screaming Let's Players. They would line their videos with clickbait, an unethical chemical that's been shown to attract viewers at an unfair efficiency. Soon, the rest of humanity learned that the only way for their creations to be seen was to play by the content men's rules. They started to upload similar content and even line their videos with clickbait, ethics be damned. Over time, they found that their souls began to shrink. A profound emptiness overtook them, and many began to develop depression as a result of the morally barren livelihood they set up for themselves. The content men felt no such sadness, for they were born empty, molded by the void itself. They never had the capacity to love themselves, so they knew not what they were missing. The humans, however, knew it all too well, and felt the pain from each cubic centimeter of self-love dwindling from their bodies. Many wanted to stop, but found that if they didn't continue, their entire livelihoods would be whisked away, replaced by someone else eager to give their soul in exchange for their place in the ranks. And so they continued, and worked day in and day out to stay afloat in the sea of clickbait, until one day, the last of their souls vanished. They themselves had, truly and wholly, become content men. Such is the tragedy of this tale. There are, however, a few noble souls who refuse to play by the distorted rule set laid out before them. They, through power of will and belief in their self-worth, fight to rise through the ranks and gain notoriety without relying on any underhanded methods. Because they know that, if they work hard enough, they can make it to the top, and they can take their souls with them. They can stand tall, knowing they reach the same level as the content men without using their detestable methods as a crutch. I'm not the first person to try and do this, but I'll be damned if I'll let myself be the last. So if you're a fellow creator, I urge you to join me. It won't be easy, and many of you may drown entirely beneath the sheer volume of clickbait above us. But if your intent is to persevere, regardless of whether that leads to hard-earned success or a bitter end, you'll be setting an example. If enough people reject the clickbait philosophy, the world may one day see it as unnecessary. With enough of us breaking through to the public's eye, others will see that they don't have to sell their souls to succeed. Together, we can push back against this tiring, infectious wave of hyperbolic nonsense. I know I'm not going to start a revolution here, and there are already a number of examples of good, genuine people who have already succeeded in what I'm still desperately trying to succeed in. I just wanted to spread this message anyway, to the tiny fraction of humanity that dove far enough underwater to find me. Because I'm sick of this, and I know you are too. Don't accept it. One last thing before I end the video. I think it's really stupid that we don't help each other out more often. I feel like everyone tends to treat shoutouts as these rare, sacred things that should only be bestowed once in a blue moon upon only the most worthy people, but like, they're not hard. For example, hey, go look at Shrek's channel. See, that was the easiest thing in the world. I mean, I understand that if you're in the big leagues, you can't just give a shout out to every single person who asks for one, but I can't help but feel like we're treating it as a commodity that needs to be bought in some way rather than given out for free to the people who deserve it and could really use it. So I'm gonna try to set the example here. From now on, I'm gonna use the endings of some of my videos to give shoutouts to people whom I think could use some extra recognition. Keep in mind this doesn't mean I'm gonna advertise every single small channel I come across, only those that I think are of a high enough quality. So like, if you come to me asking for one, try not to take it personally if I don't pick you. I'll probably refrain from telling you yes or no on the spot since it's always kinda awkward to tell people no with these things, so just, don't count on it, but if I like your stuff, then it'll probably be featured at some point. Today's shoutout is What the Check. This is a very small creator. He has less than 1,000 subscribers at the time of me making this, and I can tell he's still more or less trying to find his style and what exactly he wants to do with his channel. What I can tell you right now though is that he likes to talk about animation, whether they be analysis videos or discussions on the culture surrounding them. He takes inspiration from RoboBuddies, and RoboBuddies is a pretty good YouTuber to draw inspiration from, so if you're looking to fill the void of her quitting, maybe Shek will be able to help. So far, the only video of his that's gained any traction is the one where he talks about the Butch Hartman controversies, which is something I know must bother him because he's told me he really wants to avoid becoming one of those commentary/drama channels I talked about earlier. But like I said, he's still trying to find his footing and has only really been making serious attempts at his current style of videos for less than a year, but I know him well enough to know he'll get somewhere if he keeps at it. His catalog of serious videos hasn't had much time to grow very large yet, but I'd recommend his Spider-Verse video to get the best taste of what his channel is meant to be about.
However, great power and great responsibility isn't the main theme of Spider-Verse. It only supports the main theme. Instead, the theme is great expectations. Miles has great expectations from the people around him. Now that Miles has to fill the shoes of Spider-Man, there are great expectations set for him. Not just from being a hero, but from his parents and his new school too.
He's also just an overall really solid guy, and I want him to succeed. Give a sub to him. That's it for this video. Don't forget to do whatever you want. I found that people have been commenting on and liking my videos a lot without me having to tell them to do it, which is nice, although my sub count hasn't been climbing very fast. Of course, I mostly suspect that's due to YouTube not actually showing my videos to anyone other than some of my existing subscribers, so I won't command you to do it. I'll just, remind you that if you haven't, you, can, if you want. Wow, I didn't think the ending of this video would be this awkward. Bye.